All right, and we are live. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Thought I would sit down and do a video for you guys and gals. Get my shirt adjusted here. All right, there we go. So, hopefully, be a lively chat. Good time of evening. Hopefully, it fills up. I'm just going to run with this one for a bit. So, I think what I want to cover for my topic, the whole idea of fake natties gear use. This is something I came to realize after I put up a poll, and I was surprised. I did that poll sometime back, if you guys recall, and a lot of people voted. It was like 800, 1,000 people. The overwhelming majority of people really had no issue with people using gear at all. They didn't see it as a moral issue. They saw it as a morally neutral thing, which is contrary to what people act like in these certain circles online. You know, they pretend like it's this enormous deal, right? They pretend that it's an enormous deal, and it really isn't to most people. Most people just simply don't care. They only don't like the fake natty thing, you know, which almost begs the question of why some of these channels still scream natty, 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 who are obviously not. You know, we see that here on the tubes. We see channels who do that, and I'm not even hating, because let's come over to that point. If people don't even see it as a negative thing morally, then it's not even hating to call them that. And that's something people need to remember. Like when I've called this out for years, if you don't see it as a moral negative, it's not saying something bad about them, but it is people trying to market, right? People trying to market. And that's where it's the problem. It's the fact that they're lying. They're lying about it for profit. And that's the issue, guys. That is the issue. And that's what people don't like. It's just the dishonesty. Okay? Because realistically, even if you get someone who has extreme genetics and they achieve something other people can't achieve natural, all that's saying is, hey, that person is genetically gifted, isn't it? That's the totality of it. That's all it's saying. It doesn't even mean they have more knowledge, because half the time they don't. Sometimes some of the most gifted people, they don't have to have knowledge, because these things come to them easier. Right? I mean, we've all seen those people. And life's not fair. That is the world that we live in. We just have to accept that. Okay, some people are going to have to bust their butt for every single last thing. And other people, it's going to come in. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't have to be about bodybuilders. It can be about powerlifting. It can be about all sorts of stuff in life. We are all born with different gifts and talents. So even that whole idea of, well, I care if they're natural just to see what's achievable. Achievable to who? Everyone starts in a different place in life. It doesn't mean that it's realistic for other people. Just like, you know, some saying, man, I want to know what's the most money someone could make. Well, someone who inherits $50 million is going to have a bigger head start than you. So if you compare to them, you're going to come up short, aren't you? Because weren't they born with that gift? Okay. Yes, it's not inherently part of them, but it's something they didn't work for, just like a person didn't work for their genes, right? Person who has an ultra high distribution of fast twitch muscle fibers, the best muscle insertions, perfect symmetrical structure. They didn't work for that. They got lucky. Lucky if that's your goal, but if their goal isn't bodybuilding, then they didn't get lucky at all, did they? Or sports or something else. So, you know, that's the way to look at these things. But no one really cares, and that's what I'm noticing. No one cares. The whole caring about natural thing is kind of dead. That's just not the world we live in anymore. Keeping in mind, again, my audience is more American than anything else. So people have to remember that when they chime in. My audience is 70% American. At this point in the game, I prefer more of my clients be American. It's just better on the payment end and everything else. So to keep in mind, I'm talking about American culture when I say this. So before people say, well, it's not like that where I live. Well, that's okay. I'm not saying it is. But if you look here in the U.S., what all is going on? People want to lose weight. They're getting prescribed Ozempic. Now, I'm not hating on that. I'm saying that it's simply the reality. All right. How many guys who don't lift at all, they go on TRT? Like it's quality of living, quality of life. Like everyone over in the lifting world, these certain fringe groups see TRT as a bodybuilding thing. It's not. Okay, we need to be clear on that. You have to live inside of a very myopic bubble to even think it has anything to do with that. Because I can assure you, the overwhelming majority of men that I meet, because keep in mind my age group, you do realize most guys I know are on TRT. Okay, number one. Number two, most guys I know are not bodybuilders or power lifters. Most of them work out a little bit casually. I know a couple guys on TRT who don't even lift weights. They're on it because they like their dick getting hard at 50. They like the confidence. They like the improved health. You see where we're going with this? That's the world we live in. Testosterone is now seen as a quality of life thing. And it is prescribed by a doctor, right? It is. That is where it is. That's the world we live in. HGH is being prescribed for longevity. I know women, I've met women who get prescribed HGH at the longevity clinic, real HGH, because it helps tighten their skin, helps lose a little body fat, reverses aging a little bit cosmetically. Hey, this is mainstream. This isn't fringe. It's definitely not bodybuilding. That's the world that we live in today. People are just going to have to accept that in the lifting world. I think most do. The majority do. They really don't care. They really don't care. And it can't even be, well, this person doesn't get an impressive result for you. Really? You've been to any gyms and sat around. See, the guys who say not everyone, tons of guys aren't on gear, don't look like you lift. Because if you look like I do and you walk into a gym, everybody tells you they're drug stacked. Okay? And that's what people forget. That's what people forget. So when someone tells me that complete strangers don't tell you they're on gear, you probably don't look like you lift then. I mean, I'm not saying that to be hateful. I'm saying that is my real life experience. If you look like you lift and you're jacked, other dudes are going to tell you straight up who you just met. Okay? Dudes you just met at a social event, at a gym, wherever, they tell you straight up what they're taking. It's really normal. It's been that way for 25 years and it's still that way today. Okay? So again, when you look at what even the average guy using stuff looks like, they're not as impressive as you think they are. They're not even at my level. Okay, so think about that. Simple reality. And anyone who's been around lifting circles is aware of this. They're aware of this already. So let's see if we're 9 minutes in. A bunch of people watching. Can we get some actual questions? Can we get some topics besides a hello? I don't mind the hellos, of course. Also, I guess we can also tell you guys to follow the Facebook fitness page there. You guys will go there. I would appreciate it. Tony D said, "What's up, Jason? What's up, Tony?" So if we get some real questions and topics, we may run with them. But if not, I'm gonna take a moment. I'm gonna wait for some people to stream in. Not a big deal. I can do some posting. Give me a second. I'm gonna post some stuff while I wait on you guys to become more lively. People can't say, "Oh, we're gonna drop out," because no, you're here to engage me. You want to talk, we'll talk. Otherwise, Just going to run with it. But I'm sure a few more people will go down. Slowly coming up. There we go. A few more people down. As soon as we get some real topics, because I've already talked for 9 minutes about my topic. And hold on, give me a second. I do got to post something here. Got to keep them jokes going. Facebook jokes. Which groups do I want to put that in? All right, there we go. All right. Okay. Nobody got anything to say. Well, Tony, what's up? Well, you know what's up. It was shoulder day. You guys saw the shoulder workout. You see all the bodybuilding work we're doing. You see the cardio. You know, there's a reason I'm getting all these veins. All the training volume is going up. Cardio's going up. Carbohydrates are down. And keep getting in shape, going to keep improving. Okay. That's not a fitness related topic, Peggy. This is a fitness channel. All right. We don't need to go there, bro. All right. I had a client question. Tony says, I think I might start increasing protein, healthy fats, and low carbs, see how my body comp changes. All right, switching fats and carbs isn't going to affect your body comp that much, to be fair. They're relatively interchangeable there. However, you may drop some water weight by rotating a bunch of the carbs out. So there's that. Now, will the increasing the protein? So if calories stay the same, right? If calories stay the same, then and protein goes up, then that will help with body comp. I don't know if you're talking about all my guitars. People have weird ideas. So actually, let's see, Peggy, you seem like a kind of a weirdo. You might need to just get rid of you. Just join. You know how they do that. Where's everybody? Are they banned? No, there's plenty of people. There were tons of people commenting in that one this morning while walking. They just need time to roll in. They need time to roll in. But I can just talk. It don't matter. The views are still the views, and they still count. So, which doctor says, hey, Jason, I watched the daily vlog today and was wondering what issues were you having with the dark chocolate? It probably is. Probably just taking calories and certain stuff in my gut higher. And when I say water retention, I'm talking in my GI tract, right? We're talking GI tract, because as soon as that comes down, then my waistline immediately tightens up. I was eating a lot of it, though. Keep in mind, I eat like 3,500 calories. So I ate all of it. So I'm just not going to buy more. You're really pushing the lives. Yeah, why not? They're good for outreach. I'm doing it on all platforms. I mean, people like lives. They get good views. They get good engagements. Some people make their living off life. Look at Vegan Gains. The dude, that's all he does anymore. And the dude, that's his whole spiel. And it's not bad. It seems to work decent for him. Yeah, they show up on feed at top for me. Yeah. I mean, in the lives, they're good stuff. I think overall they're a positive thing for outreach or everything. Like they make my subscriber count go up all the time, right? So they're good stuff. They are good stuff. It's where the magic happens. And they do the same on Facebook too. Like that, a lot of times they get thousands of views later. So it's good for just my overall numbers. It's good stuff. But yeah, it gives people, a way to reach me, a way to interact with people like you, regulars who want to chat. It lets you get your questions answered, right? Makes me more of a real human being to you and not just person on the screen, right? It's good. It's good for outreach to the audience and the fans. It's good stuff. Like I said, some people are highly successful doing just lives. I probably won't do that long term. There's probably going to come a point where I scale these back, honestly, like I've done in the past. But I'm making a push for them for a while. We'll see how it goes. But it's going to be dependent on, who all comes in. But they work over time. But I gave you guys one topic. But SatNav, here's the thing, man. Do you not have any training or diet questions? Jason, are you opposed to client blogs sometimes in the future? I've shut them down for a number of reasons. I do have someone who may be coming back on for a blog, right? I'm waiting on them to finalize what they want to do with it. Some people I definitely don't want in blogs. Yeah, I'm never going to do viewer call-ins, dude. It's never going to happen. I have too many goofballs out there. Yeah, there's going to be zero chance of that happening. So Satnav, if you have plenty of them, you have plenty of questions, you could ask one. Just throwing the idea out there. Jason, your shoulder workout today made all the bros very happy. It probably did. All the bro bodybuilders were just like, oh my God, what is he doing? Right? Are we really watching Blaha? Are we really watching Blaha do 18 sets for his delts of 6 different exercises? Is he really isolating every single head of his delt in addition to doing all those compounds? The answer is yes. I mean, arm day tomorrow, we're going to see a whole lot of that too. I'm going to try to build up to about 20 sets for biceps on my back end bicep day. All right. So I've decided I'm going to make my biceps my best muscle group as someone who is historically not. For those ribs you posted, probably which one? Hey, Matt, you got to be very specific in terms of which picture. But yeah, I did a bunch of boneless beef ribs. The only beef I bought lately was ribeye and then some boneless beef ribs. All right. Mainly I grab beef that I know that I'll eat, that I like when it's on sales, because I eat so much meat right now and so much protein. I mean, otherwise I'm just content to do chicken thighs, right? 2-3 pounds of it a day potentially. On bench, what's the story with some people bringing the bar down towards their stomach and some bringing the bar down to their neck? People bring it to their neck. That's really, 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 really rare. Guillotine presses are not popular just due to the potential for shoulder injury. It's called a guillotine press, not a bench. That is not called a bench press. It's called a guillotine press. The stomach goes back to certain really fat powerlifters to cut range of motion, or equipped benching in some cases, right? With a bench shirt, some shirts, depending on the person, will give you more pop down low like that. But generally, for a raw bencher who doesn't have a big belly, it's harder on your shoulders, to do the belly touch. Again, mileage may vary, right? Mileage may vary. I feel more comfortable going a little lower, but my best lifts have been a little higher. Like, honestly, my strongest benches have been like right here, but I feel more comfortable down here. But you go all the way to the belly. That is a bit rare, that belly bench, and it's usually fatter guys because it cuts the range of motion out a lot, and then they can use that belly squish to get it moving. Matt says, it's awesome for me to have a serious goal with my lean bulk and follow along with you. Watching your daily progress keeps me pushing myself and dial in. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. And I think it does help and motivate a lot of people. I saw a video you doing the limited range. Now, could you specifically explain what you mean by limited range of motion? Because there's multiple different exercises. And for powerlifting, they serve different purposes. So I need you to be very specific in which one you're asking about. So something placed on my chest, so a bench block. So it's called, that's the ability to do a board press without having spotters and people holding your board. So they have bench blocks that you can attach. That replicates a board press. The whole idea with a board press is unlike a pen press or a floor press, it lets you get the same leg drive that you would off the chest. So it lets benchers do a partial for powerlifting purposes, or if their shoulders are a little beat up from full range of motion and they need a break from that. A lot of powerlifters will then do their heavy work off boards. And the benefit of doing boards, and that replicates that, is still being able to get your leg drive. And they'll do it, say, at their sticking point. So it's not uncommon for really elite benchers, particularly in shirts, but on some raw benchers, to practice a specific technique with that to where they go 1 inch below their sticking point and then see if they can build it up heavier than their one rep max. Now, if it's really tall blocks, it will sometimes be 100 pounds over their one rep max. Okay, and that's called a board press. It's very powerlifter specific. It's very sport specific. All right. Now that I'm doing bodybuilding stuff, I'm not going to do that. I would obviously touch the chest on every rep because it's going to get better hypertrophy. Just like you saw me also doing some dumbbell benching this week. I'm going to incorporate more and more dumbbells into my chest work. I'm actually considering at this point going to just one heavy top set of bench since it's power building, and then just sticking with incline and tons of dumbbells. Hi, Jason. Is it cool to send in topics for some current events? Last discussion. Steve, send them to me on one of my social media. Send me the link, right? Either the big fitness page, the big Facebook page. I don't accept non-friend messages on the profile. So the big one, the one that I link here or on Instagram, link me the current event and why you want me to cover it. What's your opinion on LinkedIn partials? Nothing really different over normal exercises. I think in some cases, LinkedIn partials, for some movements, they work better than others. I don't think they offer any advantage for hypertrophy. For some exercises, they'll give equal, but some movements, they struggle with the range of motion for whatever mobility reason. So they make sense there, right? They make sense particularly then for exercises in which you really do get a good stretch there, right? An example could be a weighted pull-up. But I don't think there's anything special about them. And the data hasn't really come out showing that they're that great. Again, there was this little whole fad with all of that. It was a fad, right? And it's turning out, they're just a normal exercise. There's nothing special. Bench block is powerlifter specific. Would it be the case if there are different sizes of blocks? I have a full set. You literally have like 6 different heights you can go to. Is there a good replacement for the deadlift to build a strong lower back? There's better exercises. How about the reverse hyper? Right? Reverse hyperextension is great. That's king for lower back, in my opinion. But you still should be doing conventional deadlifts. I just don't do it for a lot of volume. I've trained that way. It's just hard on recovery. Do you believe in sets of 5 for dips and pull-ups? No, I don't recommend doing dips with only 5 reps. I think it's too risky. The risk to benefit analysis on it is just not there. Dips really should be a higher rep exercise. My opinion says me. Take it for what it's worth. Right? Are they a branded? Yes, it's called Power Block, if I recall. Right? I bought them so many years ago, or they called bench blocks. Does anyone remember? I would have to go to my garage to actually give you the answer. Type bench block. I think it's called bench blocks. And it's spelled like B-L-O-K. And who knows what exists now? There's probably all sorts of new variations. I bought those 4 or 5 years ago, I think. Optimal rep ranges for dips and pull-ups. There's no optimal rep range. 5 to 20, but we come down to 5s on dips are going to be rough. All right. That's just you're getting a risk for no real benefit. I would stick to probably 10 plus on dips. I know it's only go over 3%. Yeah. So get yourself a reverse hyper, dude. It's the way to go. Or find a gym that has one. They're pretty popular. Benji says, "What's up, Jason? What's up, Benji? How you doing, brother? Thank you. I'm looking jacked. Benji, come on, man. I'll get you looking jacked. I'll get you deadlift and everything caught up to match that ridiculous bench." Rowan says, "Looking huge and freaky." Yeah, we got the veins. I'm new to the channel. What are the streams about? The streams are usually I pick a topic, I talk about it for 5-10 minutes, and then we go to your questions, Ron. So in this case, since you asked me what the streams are about, the stream is about telling you what the streams are about. All right. Justin says, "I find out that weight loss is way easier if you cut slow, like it's way easier, hungrier, relative to losing 5 pounds a week." Yep, absolutely, dude. And guess what? You keep muscle better. In fact, when you cut slow, you can sometimes gain muscle instead of losing it. It's a win. Mike, what would you guess your body fat? I'm going to guess 12%. Right? I'm going to guess 12% at the moment. If I had to just approximate. And I could be totally wrong. Tony, you said I ate close to a pound of ground beef a day for part of 2024. I'm pretty sure now I have a mild allergy. Probably don't. Hey, Ron. I don't know. I stick to only fitness related questions. My situation as a YouTuber is probably very different than yours would be. So any answer I give you is probably not going to be correct for you. A sat nav says, "I'm asking about range of motion on bench because of shoulder pain at the bottom." Well, you need to clean your form up. Are you stacking your wrist correctly? Would be my first question. That's the first thing I ask any guy who gets shoulder pain on the bench. Number one, are you stacking your wrist correctly? And are you squeezing the bar as if your life depended on it? At any point from the time that you unrack it until you completely re-rack and turn loose. Not when you finish the lockout, right? At any point when the bar is supported in your hands, do you ever stop squeezing it as if your life depended upon you squeezing the blood out of it? If you say yes, then I already know why your shoulder hurts benching. You're too loose. Your grip is too loose. Well, that's why your shoulder hurts. Changing the range of motion is going to make it worse. So if you go to a bench block and you are not keeping your wrist stacked and the bar squeezed so hard that your hands hurt the entire time and never letting go, your shoulders are going to get even worse when you go to a bench block. Do you know why? Because you're going to be using the same shitty form that puts you into a torqued position, right? But you're going to have more weight on the bar now because of taking the lengthened position out. So you're going to, instead of, doing rep work with 100 kilos, you're going to have to do rep work with 110 or 115 kilos for the same number of reps. See where we're going with this? It's not going to fix your problem. So first thing we always look at is wrist stacking. All right. Hit 3 sets of 8 on chins this week. Would you suggest I work up to sets of 10 in the same weight? No, dude, I'd work up to sets of 10 and then I'd weight. Probably be better. I got shoulder pain on the bench, and it was only mild. Again, probably overuse, bad technique, lack of stacking, etc. Um, should we squeeze the bar as hard as we can on the squat too? No, squat Scott is totally different. Is it true that lifting weights can cause damage to your spine? I mean, in theory, I deadlift over 600 pounds and my back doesn't hurt. And I'm about to turn 48. So learn how to train correctly. The vibration of deadlifting hitting the floor ever a problem for your elbows? That's why we use deadlift platforms. Lift on rubber, use bumper plates, whatever you need to do. Right? I have a deadlift platform, problem solved. And why are you bouncing it at the floor? You can control it. If it's hurting you when you touch the floor, you should probably control your eccentrics a little more. Okay. Justin says, I would recommend isometrics if they have that per shoulder. I don't know about that. Are you gripping hard on a press laterals? No, those are much looser. Again, I'm not concerned with that same wrist stacking. Matt, keeping in mind what we were doing with the bench on that, you were trying to avoid this happening. Okay? This is a shoulder destroyer. You are not doing a JM press when you got 300 pounds on the bar. You're doing a bench. Okay? This is your goal. Never this. See the problem? Look at the torque on your shoulder difference. Because that the weight transfers up here. Okay, now you've got a problem. Because then versus, does that make sense? And if you lose, your grip gets loose at any point, you are fucked, my friend. All right. My doctor recommend lifting to prevent spinal joint. Yeah, that's true. What are the downsides of lifting heavy weights? What are the risks? I've heard. Man, you're really new to my channel. I'm very big on doing extremely heavy lifting or a very small amount of your lifting. Too much heavy lifting will beat you into the ground. Okay? Even at Westside Barbell, what did they have them do? What did Louis Simmons have them do to build over 100 world record holding powerlifters out of his gym? They lift 2 heavy lifts a week. Notice I didn't say sets, a bunch of sets. 2 heavy lifts. That means a lift is 1 rep. You do 2 really heavy reps per week. 1 for your upper body and 1 for your lower. Okay? He produced 100 world record holders doing that. Everything else, you just get jacked and you get explosive. All right. So therein lay the reality. We don't need that much heavy work. Now, if you can do it 10 times, it's not heavy. Like people are like, Jason, we watched you deadlift 500 for 11 reps once. Because 500 pounds isn't heavy. If I can do 11 reps, it's not heavy. Okay. So excessive volumes of heavy work will beat your joints up. Small amounts of heavy work can work wonders for you. Okay? And that's generally what I advocate. Do enough heavy lifting to maximize strength, to maximize neural drive, but to be within your recovery. And then use more volume and hypertrophy and failure and even isolation work to build everything else up. Okay? And it is that simple. All right. Heavy lifting is fine, builds bone. Exactly. Benji's right. It builds bone density. It makes your body more resilient. As long as you don't overdo the amount of it. Like a pull-up hang is one of the best, but fixing your form is key as well. For the long term, we already covered that. I mean, heavy like benching 225. Yeah, it might seem like a lot to you, but that's going to get light eventually. right? Benji benches like 450, by the way, the guy chatting there. I've seen the videos. So, I mean, even me, dude, you guys have seen me rep out 315 in my 40s, right? I've done it. I think the best I've done on camera was 8 reps at 315 before. So, you know, it's all relative. But I mean, again, if 225 is heavy for you, then do a very small amount of 225 and then do rep work and then do some dumbbells and incline and everything, build it out of that. Is one set of 3 to 4 reps on squat and deadlift once a week? And no, the one set of 3 to 4 is good. It's good, man. Keith, well, there's downsides to everything. I don't feel that lifting heavy is risky at all if you minimize the volume of it. So are you saying the risk? I think that, let me put it this way, Keith. If you can deadlift 600 pounds, so let's say you're me, right? Let's say you can deadlift 600 pounds, but you only do a little bit of heavy deadlifting with good form. You are more likely to get injured in a car wreck on your way going to the gym than you are from doing that heavy lifting. Are you not bouncing it off the floor? Are you limiting the total number of sets and reps you're doing with the heavy weight? Are you avoiding bending your elbows so you don't tear a bicep, right? It's nearly zero risk. Honestly, the risk is at that point, you're not wearing knee wraps so that you end up tearing a quad because of the tight knee wraps on a heavy squat. Like, again, stuff like that. If you're doing it correctly, your risk is lower than driving to the gym. The actual car ride, you getting hit in a car accident, is higher than getting hurt in the gym. Not saying it's zero, but you see where we're going, right? But I would say as your volumes start to go up, that's when heavy lifting gets risky. When the workload gets too high. Overuse is the number one cause of injuries in the weight room. That's not my opinion. That is the opinion of the medical doctors who research it and run the numbers. Heavy lifting will reduce degenerative disc disease. Not my opinion. That's the opinion of the medical literature. Again, we come down to, are you getting overuse injuries or are you simply loading? But you should be doing other stuff too, right? And Marco's got a good point too. Being weak and not lifting is a bigger risk. Fact. Absolute fact. I mean, you want to get hurt, be weak and don't lift weights. Your injury risk goes up exponentially. Your risk of joint damage, your risk of breaking bones, your risk of degenerative disc disease goes up 50-fold. All right. George, was the coach, what's your PB for a triple and bench press? That I've done on camera. I could be wrong. I think my best triple has been 345 for all pause reps. I'd have to check my notes, but I think it says. Does that sound about right? Benji, you watch all my benching. Does that sound about right? I'm getting old. I forget my numbers. What's your take on one set to failure? I don't think it's sufficient. I mean, if you use enough drugs. Ben says, if I don't lift weights, my back hurts more. Exactly. Yep, people with joint disease have to lift. Absolutely. Or it will get worse. Why do you recommend pause benching versus touch and go? I feel better stimulus often overall. Plus, I'm stronger that way because I practice it that way. Touch and go is only viable if you truly touch and go and you don't bounce. I think it works great. So let me be clear. I think it works great if it's a soft touch under control. Keith says, "Well, sure, there's a tipping point, but those are fairly extreme." And Keith, I'm not telling you that the average person needs to deadlift 600 pounds. But I mean, even a grown man, dude, I mean, deadlifting 400 shouldn't be an unreasonable expectation if you work out. I mean, I'm sorry, it's just not. You know what I mean? No, I mean, a 600 deadlift. And let's be fair, is a 300 bench and a 600 deadlift even in the same tier? Statistically speaking, those are a separate tier, dude. Those are a good tier apart. Average 300-pound bencher cannot deadlift anywhere near 600. Just saying. Not being able to bench. Yeah, I mean, definitely. That's ridiculous. All right. It's about what I lift. How much? 135? No, I've done 365 for a 2-second pause on camera with calibrated plates. What's your strength standards on squat? Justin, for what purpose? I need a strength standard for a reason. I've set different strength standards for different criteria and metrics. So for who and why and what? And I can give you a number. My dad bod strength standard, which means if you've been going, if you're over 40 and you spent a lifetime lifting, you should be able to do these numbers if you trained hard and did it right. Okay. So my dad, and this is where people freak out. Right? They get mad. They're like, that's unrealistic. My dad bod strength standard is 315 bench, 405 squat, 500 deadlift, 10 pull-ups, overhand grip. I call that my dad bod strength standard. That is your ideal you should strive for if you've been going to the gym a long time and you're in your 40s. It's the dad bod strength standard. I'd like to see novice lifters reach as a baseline strength, a 225 bench, 315 squat, 405 deadlift. And I think if you achieve those, you've got a decent base. If you're just pursuing general health and to look good, you'll probably be okay, right? Yes, Ron, I offer coaching for dad bod transformations. Yep. Drain pipe veins looking prominent. Yep. I appreciate that, Dwight. Should I keep my hips high when deadlifting? How long are your legs? Hip height is completely dependent upon your torso to arm ratio. You need to set them to the optimal height, not an inch above or an inch below. You need to be at the optimal perfect leverage for your biomechanics, not an inch higher, not an inch lower. There's a perfect sweet spot. Find it. When your squat gets strong, does it become easier to stand it from a sitting position? No. What does that entail? That entails me coaching you and giving you full workouts, form assessment, programming, nutrition advice, video calls to get your head straight. Marco says, I want to get to 315 bench, 500 squats. Yeah, lofty goals. Justin, but you have to be able to do all of them at the same time. Because when you're squatting, other stuff goes up, your body weight goes up. So you're going to weigh more. George, the dad bod is just an expression. my coaching packages are the same price no matter what we're doing. Coaching is coaching. Just dad bod transformations are one of the things that I do. I don't charge you a different coaching fee to prep you for powerlifting meets, for example. It's the same fee. All right. Lifting says, what role does dietary fat play? That's, you just asked me to write you a textbook. Dietary fats, the 20 plus different types of dietary fats don't even play the same role in anything in the body. They're all different substances. My back problems are actually genetic based on research. You shouldn't fear or blame. Yep. Can you say weights? No, I don't think you should do that. I wouldn't recommend. All right, guys, I think this one's run long enough. I'm going to run this down in a minute. Ron says, as a newbie, would you recommend I get an in-person trainer? No, because they're going to be less likely. Chat just disconnected. Okay, I had an internet connection. No, Ron, I do form coaching over video. Just because they're a trainer doesn't mean they know anything. The average personal trainer just doesn't know that much in my experience. Sorry, I'm saying that as someone 25 years in the game. They just don't. So no, I coach people all the time and teach them basic form online. We live in 2024, right? We have these things. They have HD cameras on them. We have portable supercomputers that connect instantly all over the world to everyone that have HD cameras on them. Yeah, those certs don't mean anything, really. Those certifications are less useful than toilet paper now that they're electronic. They used to be good for toilet paper, but now they've gone from paper to electronic, so now they're completely useless. Purpose of a cert is for a gym to hire you. That's it. That's why you get a cert. Trainers of spectrum, yeah, they're a massive spectrum, and about 90% of them really don't know what they're doing. About 10% do, about 1% are good. What do you think about the strong underground pre-workout? I don't believe in pre-workouts. Right? Okay. So time to wind this down then. All right, guys, we are going to wind it down. I hope it's been informative. I love all of you guys and gals, and I will talk to you next time.